So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to put that up, let it drop down. It's going to go to the floor. I've got a bit of overhang at the top, so I'm not worried about that at the moment. I'm going to come down to the bottom. What I generally do is I take it about an inch past and just give it a little nick. Nip the corner. So what I'm going to do now is put it on my paste table, leave that down there. Whenever you look at your patterned wallpaper, make sure it's the way that you want it. Just because it's come off the roll that way doesn't mean that it is actually that way. So just check it and just make sure it's right. So when I made that nick, I'm just going to fold it over. I'm going to line it up so that ideally I get a nice straight cut. You want it so it's there so that you can't see the line of the purple. And then what you're going to do is keep one hand on centre and just come back on yourself. So you've got a nice straight line there. And you can use that to cut. You've got different ways and different techniques. Everybody does different things. And all you're going to do is come straight across. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get this ready to be pasted up. As you can see, it will roll back on itself as I normally do. Just put some heavy on it just to hold it down. That's my paste. There's no big clumps in it, so just take the excess off. You can actually put a piece of string across. Just tie a piece of string in it. You can just take off the excess. I just generally use sides. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start in the centre and I'm going to come out. So you're going to come outwards from centre. Now I can move my weight, well my knife, as I'm using it as a weight, because it'll stay down now because you're starting to paste. And just always make sure that you get enough on your sides, on ends. Because if it's not going to stick anywhere, that'll be the place it's not going to stick. So same again. So you're going to come across, take it straight down, always start in the centre and just move it out. That's that part done. Just making sure that I've got enough on the edges and enough on the top. So I'm just going to sit that back on there and then just going to fold it down. And it's just going to sit. Try and get it so it sits so there's no creases in it, because you don't want your paper to rip. And that's going to slide back up. So you're going to be from there. And you do it the same again. In centre. And then out. So I'm just going to make sure I've got my tools that I'm going to need. Mainly my fan, sharp knife, my scissors are just there at the side of me. So I'm going to get this first piece up. So we'll just get it on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let the paper drop, 2 fingers holding it. So that's just going to come onto there. So I'm just going to move it up to my line. Before I think about fanning it, I'm going to make sure I can see that line all the way down. So as you can see, I'm straight on my line there. So what I generally do is I fan it out, put a little bit of pressure on it, not too much, and just fan it out. Always start from the centre, working outwards, so you're coming out. And just generally wipe, if you're getting the excess off, just wipe it, it's only paste. You're just basically getting all the excess paste out. Just going to bring it all up, if there's any excess it'll bring it all up to the top. So we're there. So I've got my trimmer and I've got my knife. As you can see, I'm going to come across there, where we are. It is a brand new blade in this knife, so it is really sharp, and it's going to come across, and hopefully we'll have a nice straight cut. So we're there. That'll come off there. So I'm coming down to the bottom, and I'm coming around a socket now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut straight into it, not too far. You can see where your point is here. You can feel the corner. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut up into it. Same again with the bottom. You feel it there. You don't need to go too far with it. So, and don't be scared if the paper rips. You can sort it out. It's not. So that's going to come round. Keep it straight still, because you want your next pieces to be nice and straight on. So we're going to come down. That's going to come into there, and that's going to drop down there. So we've got that there. That's going to be fanned out to that. This is where this comes back into it again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut across it. Same again. It is a brand new Stanley blade, so it's really sharp. That's going to come away like that. So you get a nice straight cut. Same again. Push it into it. It's going to come down. So that should nicely pull away. You can actually take the socket off just so you can push it down. But I just find it easier to do it this way. So I'm just comfortable doing it this way. So same again. You're going to push that up to it. And just nice and gently, just run it across. It is a really sharp blade, so you don't need to put too much pressure on. And as you can see on this corner, the paste is a little bit tight. There's not much paste on that corner, so what we'll do is, you could actually use some off the bits of paper that you've got spare, but I'll just take a bit off of the side. Just put a little bit of paste up here, and then that'll sort that problem out there. Push it back in, and then we're there. So the bottom, just going to fan this bit out to make sure we've got every little bit out, because I was noticing that it was a little bit short on that side. So just come down that side, that'll excess off. So straight across, run that across, just get a straightish line, and that's going to sit there. You can do it with scissors, or you can do it with a knife. But as you can see, that's quite a nice straight line. I'm not that confident to get a perfect straight line like that with scissors, so I just like to do it. I like to do it the way I like to do it, and it's comfortable for me to do. And I'm not going to muck that piece up, because I don't really fancy doing that full piece again. So that's your first piece on. What I do is a nice dry cloth and just wipe the paste off around your socket. Don't use a wet one, obviously, with it being electric. So a nice dry cloth, I'll just wipe that off, and yeah, we're ready to get the next piece on.